What's good, everybody? I took Mermail again to locals yesterday. I did phenomenal with it. I was hand ripping for 4 and 5 and setting up barrier statue and some other interruptions. It was really crazy. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of other stuff, so let's get directly into the deck profile. We all know Prince is the best starter in the deck, maybe the whole game, debatably. Clearly, we played the 3 Dragoons. Really broken that you can keep searching with it. The 3 Abyss Rhine, and then I'm on 2 Poseidra, and then I'm on 2 infantry. I like having one in deck for the Poseidra play on opponent's turn, and then I like having one in hand because it's not once per turn. And if you must normal summon it to do some stuff, you can, but I don't really feel like that's necessary. That is all the Atlanteans. Let's get into the Merms. First and foremost, we have 3 Abyss Tias. I don't know why people play less than 3. That card is amazing when you open it with Dragoons or Squad, and you're playing 3 of all of them, so it seems likely. And then we're on 3 Pike, 3 Abyss Pike. I'm on Coelacanth. Spoilers. This is the only fish that you need. You don't need the Harpooner. You don't need the Gluttonous thing. You don't need the Goaty guy. This is great. And then, of course, we have the 3 Shadow Squad, and then we have the engine requirement, Abyss Sting Triana, which debatably this can be cut. A lot of times I was adding that to hand and I didn't even use it. I ended up discarding it and I didn't even use the banish effect or anything. So that can come out debatably. But it's really cool. It baits out a lot of stuff. It kept getting Cosmic Cyclone, and that's cool. You want to lose a grand against this deck, that's fine with me. And we have some more supplementary things. Of course, we are on the Minstrel, but I'm playing 3 of them. I don't know why we want to waste the Dragoons on this. There's a way that you can go Pike and do this, and then you can still end up with the Shrine and all these other things. And then for some weird techie stuff, I'm on the Sentry. You don't get to pick what your opponent banishes from their hand, but you're still taking away stuff from their hand. And that's wild to me that hand ripping is in any game, because it makes the game uninteractive, but a win is a win. And then let's get into the one-ups. Now, look here. If you know me and you've watched all my previous deck profiles, I hate one-ups. But these are pretty good. 3 of them are bricks, except the Coelacanth. But I feel like Ruling Glacia is an engine requirement for turn 1 at least. And the statue and the trap are just whatever. Don't really like this, but there are lines where if you get shifted, with your Bahamut Shark, a Toad sucks under Shifter, so you go Bahamut Shark, you detach, you bring out the Virtue, you can grab that, and Virtue can activate to detach the material from the mutt, and then you can, if you have something engraved, you can get it back. That it's neat. I'll give it that. And then from there, I don't play this, but you could probably go into the Xyz Armor stuff. But again, you're running bricks, and I don't want to do that. These are really cool. I like them a lot. And then for the non-engine, we have the most affordable hand traps. The best affordable hand traps, I should say, is Imperm, and then the Ashes, and then Nibiru. I kind of wanted this to be Droll all day, but when it worked, it worked. Maybe 85, 90% of the time I was discarding this for something. These are great. I kind of wanted 2 or 3 more pieces of non-engine, but I don't know. This felt okay. Typically, Mermail Atlantean can just break boards. We'll get to the extra deck next. There are some obvious things, like we're on the Poseidra, the Gaios, the Trite, Double Mutt, the Dweller, the Virtue, Double Toad. I really wanted the Kragan all day, but we did pretty good with it. Like I was saying a moment ago, this is really bad under Shifter, and then you have this play. This is really good for the Mirror, and then if you're up against Fiendsmith things, this is cool. This can res Coelacanth. This is not a hard once per turn like I thought it was. Like, I've read it 1,000 times, and it just didn't click until yesterday. Abyss Gaios is really good. Maybe that's more because of the mixed skill level at my locals, but this puts in work. We have a guy that typically plays Kashtira, and then we got some mellow players. We got a Tempai guy, and a lot of those decks just can't play under that. When like Tempai, the Synchros can attack and all that kind of stuff, but when they line up all their little dudes, you can just blanket negate all of them, You can bait them and then blanket negate them. It's pretty good. Um, and speaking of Phasidra not being a hard once per turn, if you have resources, you can summon 3 again or whatever. But that's fine. You only really need to do it once, and I'll get to why this card is cool in a moment. Cooler in a moment. That's all the exes. And then we have all the links. It's just these. People are cutting this. I don't know why, because this is really good. These are just really standard. I don't feel like I have to tell you all anything about them. Jameer, Trish, and then the Prima Donna. These are great. This sucks against Malice. I don't know why anyone would drop it, but don't use this against Mouse. But otherwise, it's great. Like I was talking about before, like if you're playing against like the Tenpai guy or something like that, when they go Sangan summoning, you can just banish it. Uh, that's really cool. It also works against really any field spell, unless it just blanket negates, but thank God mine is banned. Trishula, we're continuing to hand rip, and it's non-targeting, so we're getting rid of threats that we probably couldn't otherwise deal with. And then this is for the barrier statue line. Now, these two are when you have the Passadra play, you can summon 3/3s, which is typically the Minstrel, the Rhine, and the Squad, and then you synchro into this. I mean, it's cool, but mostly we're synchroing into this. You get typically a Minstrel as your 3-tuner. You get any other level 3 that's not a tuner, and then you grab a Neptibus instead. And then you can synchro into 7, and then you can give opponent back a card, and then you board the barrier statue. And you, in this scenario, you can even give them back a Nibiru or something, because giving them back the card and summoning the barrier statue is all one effect. So on resolution, you'll have the barrier, and they can't be like, how many summons or whatever. This is awesome, and I wish that it was foil, because everything else in my extra deck is, and it just looks terrible. We're going to get into the side deck now. Again, this is for my locals, but I guess this could go to a regional level. We have some like mass removal here. These were really just against. We have a White Woods player, and we have a bunch of, well, I say a bunch. We have a couple of people with the Fiendsmith engine, and Desiree is a motherfucker. So if you can find a way to like force them to use a negate on one of these, because they are face up, you can target the back row and you just get rid of all the things that they have equipped and stuff. It's pretty cool. I resolved this yesterday against my buddy Austin, who was on some Fiendsmith variant. I don't remember what it was, and he had a Desiree back here, and he was in a situation where I had a couple of toads and whatever, and I was just like, Duster, and he didn't know what to do. So he let it go. I also hand ripped him for 5 and barrier statued him. That game was just not fair, and I felt really bad about it. We are on Xyz Encore because Abyss Dweller turns us off. That's really the only thing. We don't have Ryzeal at locals yet, but we have a couple of people working on it. And when that's there, we'll deal with the duo drives and detonators, but I don't want to lose the Dweller. And then, let's see. I'll save that for last. Let's get into the Lancias. We have Malice representation at our locals, and this is functionally a turn skip. I don't feel like I have to explain a lot of that. Now, I did what a lot of the other Mermail players I'm seeing doing, and I'm siding a cross-out package with the 3 cross-outs, the Call by the Shifter, and the Droll. Don't do this. This takes up so much side space, and this was so mediocre the whole time, and anytime I got shifted or drolled, I just had the Rhine. And that's the cool part about playing 3 of them. I just had it, and I know that that's not typical, that you're always going to have it, but like, look at this. This is 6 spaces that you could be using for something else. I don't really care for the thrust package either, where you're playing a dimensional barrier and a sanctum and those things. But I feel like it might be better than this. And like I was saying earlier about Nibiru, I really wanted Droll all day. So maybe we can swap these for nibs, some of these for nibs, and then put the Drolls in the main and then figure out something to do with the rest. It's not bad. Droplet could be good in here, turning off Abyss Dweller and whatever else, other floodgates, whatever. But that's what I like. What I've been doing is researching like how the OCG plays this, and there are a lot of cool lines, and I feel like it's unexplored, and I got really bored one day and just started watching videos, and I feel like their Their version just has a higher ceiling because what we do over here is a bunch of toad stuff and hand ripping, and they don't have toad, and they hand rip for sure, but they're I feel like they just have more, and I suppose you could call it more of a mid range thing, but you can still win turn one. And I figured we could take the best of that world and ours and just see what we could do with it, and it really worked. Um, I lost um, I lost a game two outright to a shifter, and that was it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Don't be late.